Hi, Darren Hall here from tradinghorses.com again. Just going to do a video just to demonstrate a strategy which you may have seen me use before. It's an in-play strategy which involves scalping. This is on longer races. You can see here we've got a 3-mile race coming up at Uttoxeter. We've just got a couple of positions that are already in the market where we've just been testing something out using the Trading the Horses traffic lights. So we're just letting that cycle through. We've only got sort of 30 seconds left before the start of the race. But basically the idea is once the race starts, we're going to be dropping bets in, lay bets outside of the current price. We've got a book reversed here. And basically what we're going to do is just set the software up. I'll just do that now. We're just going to go for £50 liabilities. We're only going to be laying, so that's all that's in there. We're going to turn on fill a kill of 20 seconds. We're going to look for an offset of 2 ticks. And we will hedge the selections as we actually get them matched when we go in. You can see we're just waiting on a couple of bets to be backed here. If we're going to get matched just before the off, if we can start with a green figure, it doesn't really matter. We're just literally there. One of the things which I left it a little bit late to get set up, but one of the things which is quite good to do is if we're using the pre-race trading, we can build up a green on some individual runners, or even you can take it across the book if you want, and that will then give you obviously more leeway when you're actually trading the horses in play, because that will give you the opportunity to leverage some of that green against some of the runners, and as I say, you can then sort of compound that as the races actually go along. But technically this is fairly sort of simple. What we're going to do, I mean, we're sort of working, generally we like to look to get out just over sort of a halfway point. That gives us plenty of time to consolidate the positions that we've got. So the race here has just gone in play, so we'll just let the market settle down, and then literally all we're going to do is just fire some bets here with 3 ticks outside of the current price, and we're just going to sort of go any selections round about sort of 20 and below. So what will happen here is the bets will go in. We'll see them coming up here in our unmatched bets list, and as I say, they'll stay in the market for 20 seconds. If they're not matched, they get automatically killed. Obviously if they are matched, then a reverse bet is put in 2 ticks higher, and we look to back out of that selection. So you can see we've got some matched here. So what we do is then, general rule of thumb is any selections that we've got which we've not got a liability on, we'll just recycle those again. We don't want to build up a massive sort of liability on any individual runner, so we'll look perhaps to see if we can get those matched. All the time we're seeing here our positions on the individual runners in terms of red or green as they are, and then obviously the green figure overall when we actually choose to hedge up, which again we could do. We can look for a particular profit. Some people like to do this and say aim for £5 a race. As soon as they get £5 in here, they hedge. Doesn't matter how long the race has gone, they get out. Equally with the red figure as well, because you've got to have some sort of stop loss or exit point in mind. Okay, I'm doing my usual trick here of talking and not clicking, so I'm missing opportunities here as the race goes along. And you can see we're 1 minute 30 into the race at the moment, and we're just looking to see if we can get any actual selections matched there. But as I say, relatively low stakes in terms of we're just using a £50 liability here, and that's a fixed liability, so naturally on some of the higher price runners those stakes are going to be relatively low. Now once the favourite sort of drops quite low, we'll perhaps look to avoid that. We're just going to see if we can get one more set in there, just sort of before. But all the time again we've got, obviously we build up a bit of green as we're going along, so that gives us a bit more of a buffer. But you've got to be conscious, and particularly when it gets into the later stages of the race, which is again why we look at the longer races, that these odds are just going to go absolutely haywire at some point, and you could find yourself, if you let it go on too long, but you can't actually retrieve the situation, because those odds just never come back to you. So generally, you know, if we can get round about sort of £5–6 mark by sort of halfway through the race, based on £50 stakes, you can see how that can sort of compound itself up. I mean, there we go. I mean, we've got £5.14 that we can hedge there. We're coming up to the halfway stage already. You can see now, I'll just let this run a little bit and you'll get an indication of just how much the actual odds move along. What we can do is just hedge our position there. Quite happy with that for this particular recording. And that will equalise the profit as best it can across all of the runners there. But we'll just see the odds movements, which will then very easily show you that if you were in a red position, it could be, once you get to a certain point, very difficult to actually get out, or it's certainly down to more luck than judgment. Because particularly here as well, if you're trading, because we're trading across a number of the runners, and again we're using the grid interface here, a lot of the time you would, particularly if you were scalping, you would be using the ladder interface. But naturally, if we've got a big selection of runners there, we can't actually get all the ladders physically on the screen in order to do them. And even if we do have a screen big enough, it would be very difficult to manage. So again, got to be in a position where we can control what we're actually doing. And gradually now, you'll see that we've actually got hedged out. We're just waiting for the odds on the favourite to come down a little bit there. But that's I've not clicked anything for the last minute and a half, but that's £5 there secured on that race. Again, if you look at a number of races, particularly we tend to look at 2 miles upwards, then you can see you can very quickly start to build up a quite a nice profit just on top of the existing pre-race profit that you can also get with using the Trading the Horses software. And particularly now we've got the new traffic light indicators as well, then what we're using to good effect there is building up some green on some or a majority of the runners, and then taking some of that green, leveraging it in play, and it sort of gives us a second opportunity to compound some of those profits. And really it's when you start recycling, and a lot of the time you'll hear other traders talk about that, it's the ability to be able to turn money over in the market all the time. So again, when you've got a bit more of a buffer, you can turn the money over a bit more, and in turn you can then make money. So the money you make enables you to make a bit more money. So it really does work to good effect. So anyway, that was a nice little demonstration there. If you've got any questions about it, obviously drop us a line. It's tradingthehorses@gmail.com, and if you've not seen the software, then do pop across to tradingthehorses.com. Take a look at the site there. You can get a 14-day trial, and for just £20, come and have a look. And yeah, hope to see you on the inside very soon. Cheers, bye bye.